Good morning, everyone. I am so glad y'all tuned into Salon Saturday. This is a special one today. Salon Saturdays are on fourth Sundays, and it's basically just a time to let your hair down and just talk about conversations like we would be at the salon. But we don't really go to salon anymore, so I decided to bring in the salon digitally by hosting it on Black Girls Den. If this is your first time at the salon, thank you so much. My name is Alicia, and I am the host of Black Girls Den podcast, where media meets womanhood. I'm so excited you have tuned in. Today is very special because on my podcast, I did a series called Small Town Girls, Bigger Dreams. That series has wrapped up, but I decided to reach out to a couple of small town girls with bigger dreams. And we are here to kind of update and share where we are and what we're doing and kind of just how it looks like dreaming and still being able to achieve goals as you're still in your business. So I decided to just invite some guests back and get into that with, get into that conversation with them. But make sure to subscribe to the channel and comment. All right. So that's enough about me. I will pass it on to our first small town girl with bigger dreams, Deirdre. Fly Girl Candles.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deirdre, owner of Fly Girl Candles. So I make hand-poured story wax candles, and the fly stands for First Love Yourself. So I do my best to name them after self-care and self-love. I'm entering my 7th year in the business, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Everything is Fly Girl Candles, and the website is flygirlcandles.com. And as far as my first memory of being in a salon, whew, that's way back. I would have to say, because I'm from a small town, we went into a lady's house to get my hair done. So she had the setup down in the basement, and I believe I got finger waves back then. And I just remember it taking so long. And back then I was more of a tomboy. So when we were done, I was just like, I don't want to do this again. Like, somebody else can have this salon stuff. I just want a ponytail, so I go outside and play. So that's my first memory of a salon.
Okay, finger waves. I haven't seen finger waves in so long, but I feel like some people still do them. They're still cute.
Yeah, they rock them. Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, because now you have locks, so you be like, I don't even go to the salon that much.
I love it. Like me, and I'm so glad I went on the journey to actually become who I am now. Because like this is the first time I can say like I love my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like I love it. I love the way it looks. I'm like I should have done this years ago. You know,
I love that.
It fits my lifestyle. So
yes, most definitely. Lakeisha.
Yes, hi, my name is Lakeisha. I'm the owner of Pink Better Cake Studio. We bring people together to learn, create, connect, and celebrate with the magic of cake. So I do cake decorating classes, birthdays, weddings, all that kind of cool stuff. You can find me on all social media platforms at Pink Better Cake Studio. And then you can check out our website at pinkbettercakestudio.com. I'm really passionate about teaching and bringing people together to create community and just create memories. So that's something I really love to do. And I do that in all different kinds of elements. Super excited to be here with these amazing ladies today. And thinking about my earliest salon memory, I would say it wasn't me going to a salon. It was my mother doing hair at our house. So my mom used to braid hair. So one, I hate braids because I got braids all the time. Like I think they're beautiful when I see them on other people, but because I got my hair braided all the time when I was younger, like I don't like it. But my mom would like have people literally lined up in our apartment and she would literally be braiding hair. So that's my earliest memory.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I am the writer and director of the Grand Rising Project. The Grand Rising Project is a TV series, TV pilot that it is in production right now. Essentially, it is about 4 African Americans who are recruited by a Black Panther veteran to reclaim New York City. They do this through reviving the Black Panther Party, doing community service by day, and then by night, they directly dismantle the system as ninja. So that's the Grand Rising Project. You can follow us on Instagram. And as far as my best/first salon memory, it probably will also be like around my mom. doing my hair pretty much, not like directly in a salon, but just my mom doing my hair in our living room, watching, TV1, BT, Living Single, the Parkers. Like those are kind of like my first memories of getting my hair done. And, even up to like recently after I moved out, I would still like go back home and ask my mom to do my hair when I'm like trying to save some money. So I think those are kind of like my best hair salon memories, is getting them done in my living room.
Oh, that is so cool. The living room. Okay. I was like, my mama didn't do hair. She sent me straight to the salon. So that's so funny. But I love that. I love all the different experiences that y'all shared. And I think being Black women, our hair is really, really important to us. And it kind of like, makes our break like our confidence, or like our
Mhm.
self-esteem. And so I think that like that part of the culture and the piece is like kind of something that's missing right now in navigating the salon culture that we talk about now. It's kind of very hectic, and sadly I feel like it's not enough beauticians, and it's a lot of hairstylists. There's a difference. I think I figured it out. But I love that you all had great first experiences that y'all can remember. And so I wanted to kind of sit in that in the space, like, well, even in your living room, do you remember kind of like when you were younger, when was the first time that like you knew what you wanted to do, or like you had a dream of what you wanted to do? Um and was it the dream that you achieved?
Mhm.
I'll. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I can go first. Because yes, I do kind of vividly remember wanting to start out. I started out in journalism. I have my degree now and I work as a publicist, but I started out in journalism in the third grade. I did a classroom newspaper, and I did it, would probably say like bi-weekly. I would write like little mini articles about classmates and what was happening in the school. I remember like a new kid came into our classroom, and so he had like a full article about him, and everything. And I would clip it up to the top of the board, the whiteboard in our classroom, and I would see it disappear, and then I would see it reappear, and then I would see it disappear. And I think that was like my really first kind of introduction into the world of writing and the world of like storytelling. In fourth grade, I did a fashion magazine that came out like monthly, I would say, and I recruited my friends, and we would draw different designs and do different articles about it. And I'd put it up by like the rest of our books, and again, and it would disappear and it would reappear. And seeing people like really interested in like the stories that I had to tell was like super exciting and just like fascinating. It was like, wow, this is something that I am good at and that people are recognizing that I'm good at. Okay. So that was kind of my introduction to journalism. And I kind of stayed on that path for the rest of my life, really. When I got into high school, I did journalism as like a class as well as competitively. So I competed in journalism and went to like state competitions. Yeah, one in feature writing and opinion writing articles. I also did competitive public speaking and specifically persuasive speaking. And so I competed competitively for that as well, where I had to write and memorize my own persuasive articles and persuasive speeches. And so that was really fun and took up most of my high school career. And
Mhm.
then in college, my freshman year, I did journalism. I majored in journalism, again, competed competitively. And then when I transferred schools, I went to school at home in Illinois, and I transferred schools and went to Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts. And
Oh.
that's when I switched to public relations.
Wow.
And so I started majoring in public relations, and I've been there ever since. And so now, yeah, I work in public relations as a publicist for authors specifically, and I would love to eventually switch over and potentially do crisis communications and like corporate communications.
Really?
But yeah, it's so fun. I did a class in crisis communications, and one of my internships was in crisis communications. So it was really, really interesting. But yeah, to answer like long story short, to answer your question, I've kind of always been on the track that I'm on, and I'm so grateful to have been able to find it very early in my life, to have been able to be like, this is what I want to do. And while it has, like, changed and shifted in various different ways, when I started journalism, I wanted to do investigative journalism, and then I wanted to do like fashion journalism. And so I just started doing like fashion communications and stuff like that. But it all has really been centered around the idea of storytelling and bringing people together, and not just storytelling of my stories, but other stories. I think that's what I really love about journalism and public relations, is that I can get an idea, get a story, get a product from someone else and be like, okay, this deserves to be told. This deserves to be heard by others. And I think that's kind of one of the best things and one of my favorite things about my job, is that I get to help other people share their stories when they feel like they can't do that themselves.
Yes, I love that. Do you feel like you're at like your dream job?
I do. I like, this is definitely like my career like right now, and I think, it's something that I definitely want to stick out with the next like few years or so. I'm about a year and a couple months at my company at the moment. So I definitely do see myself like growing in the position that I'm at right now. And I think I do eventually want to maybe move into like another sector, like mentioned, crisis communications or corporate communications. But I definitely do see that as something kind of like down the line. I want to just kind of again grow and learn in the position and in the place that I'm at right now, because I do love like the agency that I work with at the moment. So, like I said, I'm very grateful and very fortunate to have found what I'm looking for very early in terms of life. And then after college, I kind of started this position like a year after college, maybe a little less. So I'm also just very fortunate to have been able to kind of jump out of college and jump straight into a job that I'm passionate about and that I love going to every day.
Yes, we're gonna have to come back around to that. I need some more questions for that one.
Mhm.
Because so many times people like, well, they kind of get their dream job and they're like, oh, they didn't think what it was, or something happens and they're like, oh, I thought I wanted this, but I didn't want this. So the fact that you were able to like get it and you still enjoy it is really, really great. But also, I'm really like, you knew about journalism in elementary school. Like that is so crazy to me. Like I didn't know what journalism was in, but hindsight 2020, I used to watch the Oprah show all the time when I was younger. So that's like, oh, I want to be a talk show. But now knowing that like that's a form of like probably journalism, like interviewing people
Mhm.
stuff like that. But I never knew, and I never knew to pursue it. Like, well, I wasn't doing nothing in elementary school except just
Mhm.
class, so I know nothing about that. But it's even to have those opportunities where you can go to those schools where they like let you and they see a gift in you. Like I think
Mhm.
that's also something that's so cool that you were able to show your creativity. Because honestly, I didn't know. I never went to a school that had journalism offered. They had like drama, but like
Mhm.
you was able to kind of create your own path and like lane
Mhm.
what you want to do. So I think that is really, really cool. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Who wants to go next? Do y'all remember the question?
No, I don't remember the question. Listen, y'all, I have my daughter here, so I got a little distracted a few times.
No, yes, you're fine. I'm like, my question was, did you know, like, remembering back when you were younger, the dream that you had, was it the dream that you still have now? Because I'm really trying to remember how I posed the question.
Right.
Oh, did you achieve the dream from when you were younger that you had? Like, do you remember your first dream? And did you, yeah. So something about that line.
I can go next if that's fine. Yeah. All
Okay.
right. So when I think back, I probably had to be maybe like middle school.
Hmm.
And back then, my dream was to be in like IT or computers just because my aunt, I saw her making money doing IT and computers. And then at a certain point, too, I knew I wanted to own my own business. So it's kind of like, how do you, marry those two together? Because I made business cards and I'm giving them out, and it's just, got my phone number on it, probably
Hmm.
my email and my what was on Yahoo handle, just
Hmm.
get in contact with me, giving it out. So I feel like I showed a little bit of entrepreneurship, and I knew I wanted to own my business at a certain point because back then my parents worked. So it's like if I got sick at school, it was almost like them calling each other like, how many points do you have? Can you take off? Hold on, let me find somebody, you know? So thinking about that, and as I grew older, I'm like, I need to own my own business, because if I have children, like I want to be able to be there for them, and them not like, well, which parent's going to show up, you know, who's going to do this and that. So I feel like very early on, I knew like my, I guess, career would have to look different from what my parents had, you know, and also
Mhm.
know like, you know, they did what they, you know, what they're supposed to do. So following in a different path to build a legacy for my children so that they can do the same thing. Because if you talk to them now, they're like, who's the owner? How can I sell this? How can I make some money? Like my son sold rocks at an event and made $5. And I made sure not to say, oh no, don't sell those. I don't want that in their head, because if you look around, people have made money off any and everything. So why should I sit here and cut them off, say, oh, you can't sell rocks, but people do sell rocks for landscaping and stuff, you know? So I feel
Mhm.
like that was me, or early on watching my parents' footsteps, seeing an aunt that was making more money than, you know, in IT and stuff, and then me kind of finding my own path and shifting as an entrepreneur.
Love that. Love that. Yes, get your son. And your son is in on it.
Yes, they're
And so
on it.
you
My
have
daughter's the same way. She sold, it was the Gaslight Festival. She ran around and got free candy from everyone. And so at our booth, she had them bundled for like $2 each. She made like $18.
she was not selling the free candy. I'm weak at that story.
Yeah. So free candy. And I just sat back and let them do it, you know, because I'm just like, I don't want to block that or put fear in them. I want them to give it a go, you know.
Mhm, that is so funny. Lakeisha?
Yeah. So one, I just love these stories. And to your point, Deidre, my oldest daughter has a rock collection. So people love rocks. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So that's like a thing. But yeah, my journey has been very interesting, very different than what's been shared already, which I think is cool. So I grew up. I'm a creative, and I didn't know that about myself as a kid. Like when I'd be in school, they're like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" I would just say stuff. So I think one of the earliest things I said was, "I want to be a businesswoman." Child, I didn't know what that meant. I just wanted to put on like the little suit. You know, they look cute.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to wear that. And you know, I grew up. I grew up in the West End. I grew up in a project, so I didn't really have a lot of visual examples. I didn't have anybody to kind of look to and say, "Oh, that's who I admire. I want to be like that," especially women. So it was very difficult for me to kind of pinpoint, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. So I had very low expectations for myself. I'll be honest. Like I didn't really have these like high achievement dreams. But there were things that I kind of noticed about myself, like as I got older. One of the things was I'm a creative. Another thing is I like to lead and teach. And so I really kind of went like the traditional path. I, finished school, I got a job, I moved up quickly in my job. I was in management. I hated it. So my earliest management position, I was working at Kroger, child, on Broadway, 28th. So just let that settle in. But so that was that was my job. Then from there, I worked at Dots. I don't know if y'all remember Dots. It was a women's clothing store. I was in management at Dots. Also very terrible. I did not like it. And from Dots, I went to CVS, and then it was around 2000. I would say 2014. I was working at CVS. I was in management. We got robbed, and yeah, at gunpoint. I was the manager on duty. It was just two women there. And I kind of had a conversation with my husband at the time, and I've always worked. So I really just I didn't really tap into that creative side of myself. I would do little stuff here and there, but I was just very much retail, customer service, corporate. Like that was that was my thing. And then it wasn't until we just, decided I should leave. This isn't really a safe environment. So I left, and I also realized I can't sit still. It's just not I have to do something. So that was really the time where I kind of like really delved into, that creative side of me. And so that's just kind of been, who I've operated in since then. I started my business in 2015. Was when I kind of had the idea for the business. And then I've just been going ever since. But one of the things I've always known about myself since I was 17 years old is that I am a teacher. And so now that's something that I've really tapped into with my business. Like that's my superpower. I love to teach. I love to, educate people, bring people together. So that's what I know I've always been. And so it's really cool to be able to kind of integrate that into my business.
Okay, that is so cool. I love that. I was gonna ask kind of like what made you all choose like what you do? Like what
Mhm.
made you all choose the like you have candles. Like what made you go the candle route? Like what made you go the cake route? And what made you go the rider route? That's a question for each.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Well, I'll hop in. So for me, my daughter was about to turn 1, and I was in my creative bag, y'all. I ain't have to listen. I was having a good time, so I was doing all the creative stuff. I was on Pinterest, and I really wanted her first birthday party to be like amazing, like like the pictures. And so I decided to save money. I was going to make her cake, and I've always cooked. I came from a big family. My mom had a bunch of kids, and nobody wants to be the one to cook. So people be like, "Oh, when you make it, it tastes real good." Lion, child. My mom taught us how to make what's called Indian fry bread, and it's literally just flour and water. And I would make it, and they would be like, "Oh, that's so good." I didn't add nothing, no salt. It's literally flour and water. And so I just kind of developed a habit for cooking, but then I developed a love for it. And so that's really how it started. Like I made her first birthday cake. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. Like I love to do this. And so I was like, this is what I want to do. And I've been doing it ever since.
Oh, okay. Love that.
That's awesome. I can go next. So candles was not on my radar at all. Zero, zilch. I thought I was going to be this fitness instructor with my own gym and all this stuff. So what happened was one of my friends, she made candles and she was like, hey, you should check this out. And I'm like, okay. So I remember she sent me a little YouTube video. She's like, hey, look at it. It'll, show you some more about candles. I think I kind of watched a minute, zoomed forward, another minute, zoomed and clicked out of it. And it was poof, it was gone. Right. So I feel like in the winter months, we all get a little creative because one time I taught myself how to crochet and how to knit, So sitting there, I was like, you know what? Let me check out this candle making because she keeps talking about it. And I remember sitting down, looking at the different packages, and it was like, I want to get the deluxe because we're going to go big because I want all the things that come with it. So I got it in, and just the whole process was so therapeutic to me. Melting it down, I'm getting jars ready, we're mixing in the fragrance, I'm pouring it into these tins, and then I'm like, holy crap, I made something. Like it was amazing to create. So I gave those to my friends, and if you have amazing friends, they're gonna hype you up and tell you need to sell these. So that's how I got started and just dove right in.
Okay, love that. You've been doing candles ever since.
Yes, ever since.
I honestly don't know where the need to write a newspaper in third grade came from. Like writing has always just been something that has felt very innate in me and has always been something that has felt very purposeful. And so when it wasn't until probably when I got to like fourth grade and was doing the fashion magazine, that was when I was watching like Project Runway. And so for that, I was like, oh, I want to go into fashion. Like, I'm seeing all these designers. Tim Gunn is like my new idol at the moment. And so that's really when I was like, oh, I want to do something in fashion. And so when doing like the fashion magazine, I was like, I know I don't. I had learned to sew. My mom had gotten me like a sewing machine to, put fire to that flame and everything and help like grow that flame. So I was like drawing and I was sewing and I was designing, but I'm like, I really want to write. Like, I don't know if that's really the path I want to do, but I still want to be in fashion. And so that's really what like geared me towards fashion journalism. And that was like a track I was on for a long while. I was on like a fashion journalism track. And then when I was in college and decided to switch majors, I was doing, more like entry level type journalism where the stories are a lot more local. They're kind of boring. And so I was like, you know what? I want to do something where I get to talk to people. Leaving high school and having done public speaking, I was like, I really like engaging with people. I really like telling people this is why you should care about XYZ, essentially. And so I was literally just Googling, like, what's journalism that lets you engage more? What's journalism that lets you talk more? And public relations had came up. And it was a fairly new major from what I was seeing when I was applying for college. It was one of those things where a lot of colleges didn't have public relations as a major. A lot of them were journalism, marketing, or business. So when I still had a semester left at the community college I was going to at the time. And in order to switch my majors out of journalism, I had to go into a marketing major. And so when I was looking for colleges, I was trying to find one that had public relations. And I was like, I don't really want to go back to journalism. I don't want to do business. And I didn't like marketing. Because I didn't like the math side of marketing. Marketing's a lot of numbers, it's a lot of
Mhm.
math. I had to take an accounting class and I was just not for it. I'm just not about it. So that's how I came across Emerson, because Emerson had a public relations major, but their major was very new. They had just finished like a graduating class by the time I enrolled into the major. And so they only had, I think, like three public relations like specific professors. The other ones were kind of like business or communications. Like there were only three professors dedicated to the craft of public relations. And so it's a very interesting experience, kind of being almost like the test subjects in a way. They were still trying to figure out what worked, what didn't work. Public relations, as we know, um, like just in real world application, is always changing and always developing and stuff like that. So it was one of those things where I knew what I, again, wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do the writing and storytelling, but switching over, it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It lets me talk more, it lets me engage more face to face, one on one with different clients and everything. So it was a natural and I would say easy transition because they are so close together, and one that, again, I'm glad I was able to kind of hop from one to two and everything like that. But it was something where it was newly discovered. It was something where I'm like, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what public relations really meant. I knew on TV there's a publicist, you kind of hear publicists on TV, and it's the person who's covering up all the drama and the person who's making them look good after like something bad happens. And that's what was my perception of a publicist. It's so different now working in the industry, but that was, I guess, kind of what maybe kind of like what made me want to get into it as well, just kind of like that perception, that TV perception.
Okay, yeah, media. I feel like media a lot of different perceptions, and then when you figure out, you're like, oh, okay, this is not what I thought it was, and then you kind of learn like what is really life. Like, for instance, someone was talking about living single. Someone was like on Threads, they were like, oh, the living single sell us a dream. Like, this is not what living single is or whatever. The creator came, she was like, well, this was my reality, and when I was in my 30s and stuff like that, I was like, oh snaps, okay. But it's like what you see, what you do, like people have all these different realities and different things that are happening, so everything that we see is not really always what it is. And so that's interesting too, because yeah, people are like telling me like, oh, you should do journalism. I'm like, I don't want to do journalism, but to your point, that's something that I did too. Like, it was communications at my school, but they were more like focused on news and like reporting. I was like, that's not what I want to do. So I also think that is something important too when people like go to college. It's like you need to know like what the major is, what is in it, because it's all these different majors, but you don't know what the classes are. So now I'm real specific of like, okay, is this going to help me with this? This is going to help me with that? Because I definitely didn't do marketing because they said econ, I said, you know what? Let me just hop on over here because I cannot take all those classes. But now I'm like, dang, should I did marketing because now I'm in it? But hindsight's 2020, so there's a lot of different things that happen. I was going to ask if you all weren't doing what you're doing now, like specifically the type of business that you have, what do you think would be the opposite that you would be doing?
I would be in fitness. Like that's my love and passion. Like in somebody's gym, running my own gym, teaching classes, training people, like that's my thing. So I say I would steer that direction.
Okay. Do you feel like you would do it one day, or do you feel like you're just like you're not going to go back into fitness?
I have been thinking about revisiting here after I get a few things lined up with my business and maybe training a few people. But that's to the extent my mind will let me go right now.
You be in the gym. I be seeing it. You be in the gym. You be working out. So that's
Yeah.
all I was asking.
Yeah.
I know they do a lot of different events. I guess it kind of will be hard to do candles, but you know how they like always like do events with something like I don't know, like fitness. Like there's always like a plus. Oh, like Lakeisha, like she does like culture and like cakes. But I'm like I feel like candles might be hard to do something with fitness. I don't know, but I was just like thinking like that.
Yeah.
But I have no idea because I don't know what you could do while making candles. But I do know they're all the time, so I was like maybe that could be something cool to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. What about you, Lakeisha or Stephanie?
I think if I was doing the opposite, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a tie. So I really like. See, I don't know. That's my problem. That's my problem. I don't know if I can just like pick one answer. Like I feel like that's the creator in me. Like I don't like to be tied to something. Like I'm just like I want like all my options open. But initially, what I thought about when you asked the question was fashion. When I worked at Dots, I really got into fashion and like piecing things together, color coordination, those types of things. So I really enjoyed fashion, but I also really like to cook and to teach. So it's like, what might be a teacher or a fashion designer or a chef
You
child?
could teach fashion, or you could teach. You could be a fashion teacher. I don't know if
Yeah,
they have those. I feel like, well, like sewing and stuff like that. I took that in when I was in school, but I don't know if they
yeah.
still do that nowadays.
Yeah, I don't want to sew. I don't
Oh,
want to do that. I just want to
and
like.
well, now I was just saying like, well, I
It's-
was thinking about what fashion classes they were, and I was like, oh, I think it's more sewing. But
Yeah,
I don't know if they have fashion classes like now, but in schools they have a whole bunch of stuff. Stephanie.
I guess similarly, where it's like there's so many things that I would be doing, and in the same breath, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, I'm kind of already doing. Like I would because I went to a film school. Emerson's a pretty big film and journalism school. A lot of my friends were in film, so a lot of them were like directors and cinematographers and stuff. So I was really into that crowd, and I've rediscovered that passion within myself now, and the reason I started working on the Grand Rising project. And I have a few other like TV pilots that I'm writing, short film series that I'm writing as well. So I guess it's also kind of like if I wasn't a publicist, I would be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I say in another life, if I could choose a different major, I probably would have picked philosophy. I don't know what I would have done with it, but I love philosophy, or economics. I
Oh,
really liked economics. I really liked economics. And if I probably were to pick another major, I'd probably go into economics and become like a consultant in that realm.
okay, economics. I love that. I don't know anybody who majored in economics become, but
I'm in school right now. I just took a microeconomics course, and
No,
more power to you because
I really liked it. It wasn't hard in the sense of like I was able to kind of piece it together. It felt a lot more definition-y. So if you kind of knew what different definitions meant, you were able to kind of get through it. But I think the main thing was I didn't know what job I would have done with an economics degree outside of like being an accountant maybe or like a
yeah,
consultant maybe. I didn't really know what economics people do, economists do. That I feel like it's just kind of like a word that like business people threw out, like the economists say, and I'm like, well, what are the economists doing actually that are like, what are? So I think that was like probably the main reason I didn't go into economics as a major because I didn't know what to do once I finished college with my economics degree. With like my PR degree, it was a very clear
yeah,
career path. You became a publicist afterwards, so it was a very clear path of education and degree afterwards. But if I were to pick like a complete opposite or a complete flip of what I'm doing now, probably an economist,
I
maybe.
love I love that. If you were in here, make sure you like the live. But I love the economist thing. But now it's like now you could be a commentator. They all talking about money now, everything that's going on.
listen,
Now you can be a commentator, but that wasn't so big back then to even know
Yeah.
kind of. But
See
it is
to know.
kind of like publicist too. But I understand you too. It's kind of like what at this point it's like, what can I do with this degree? Because I got to pay this money back to figure out what to do. And I feel
Right.
that's lacking kind of with what's going on. It's just like, oh, get this degree. It's like, okay, and what am I gonna do with it? So I love that. It's like you got to be practical out here. And so this is it's not sad, but like we all have to kind of deal with grief in different ways. And so I think it's kind of important as well. When we dream chase, some dreams they come true, some dreams they don't. And
Mm.
so my question kind of is to pose of like, if you want to share, I'll give two different options. If you want to share, do you feel like you have a dream that you have grieved, like you're just like, I'm just going to like not worry about it, like that dream is just gone, it's just like in the back of my mind? Or well, I think that's the question. Or do you feel like you might be currently grieving a dream that you are like quietly holding on to, that you're like, I'm still debating, or like, I don't know. So either one of those.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So I think that yeah, so I think kind of we did the small town girl big dreams, right? And I think one of
Mhm.
the questions you asked then was do you feel like you need to leave Louisville to be successful? And I've never like had that thought. I've never felt like that, but I'm noticing like it's difficult. There are things and I think it depends on what you're doing as well. And I know it also depends on who you know in your circle and things like that, but it's challenging. And so I think that part of me, like there is a grief there, like, do I want to take what I'm doing somewhere else? Like, do I want to keep it here and just, push through and try to make it successful here? And so I think that there's a bit of grief, with that. And just, what does that look like? Am I hindering myself if I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to stay where I'm from or where I know, and I'm just going to, try to thug it out here, or am I going to go, to a larger city and, try to make it work there? And then the other thing is, I guess I'm grieving my dream of living on a farm, just a simple life, because entrepreneurship is not no joke. I just want to, I don't really want to tend to the animals, but I just want to see them out there, have my kids tend to the animals or something. I don't know, but I just want to be on a farm. I just want just a simple life. And so I guess I'm grieving that I just can't be that simple girl. I don't.
Yes, because you're so creative. You have
Can't
so
help
many
it.
ideas. I'm cracking up. That's funny. I will say you're not really that far from the farm life if you want to do it.
Right,
Because I mean, this is Kentucky, okay? There's a whole
right.
lot here. But I agree with you on the thing. Of course, we know each other. Whatever we're seeing is like, I'm trying ready to move out ready to move out of Louisville.
Yeah.
But I always think about like, is it better to be a big fish in a small pond, or like a small fish in like a big pond? I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
When navigating big city life versus small city life. So I don't know. But shout out to Kiwan. Good morning. Support the channel. Yes, she is a TV reviewer. She comes live with me. She goes live with me a lot. But check out her channel. She does all TV shows all the time. I don't know even how she does it, but Divorce Sisters Reality. Y'all should subscribe to her channel. So shout out to her. Who wants to take it next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Yeah, I could go next. In terms of a dream that I'm grieving, I don't know if there's specifically a dream, like a specific dream that I'm grieving, but I think it's the idea of like coming to terms that I need to pace myself more and that I can't do everything at the same time, everything that I want to do at the same time. I don't think it's the idea of, oh, I have different goals and I want to accomplish all these goals and there's too many, but it's like, okay, this year I'm focusing on these set of goals. And then next year I'm focusing on those set of goals. I've become a lot more intentional about that, especially now working a full 9 to 5 and trying to break into that career, as well as trying to fulfill my goal, my dreams of becoming a writer and director. It has become a lot more like, okay, here's how I prioritize this, and here's what's going to have to wait. So in terms of, I'm writing scripts now, but I also have books that I want to work on. And it's like those books are gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to wait probably until a slate of 2027, 2028 even. Like I think that far in advance because it's like I don't want to just kind of put these ideas on a shelf. I know that I'm capable of doing them, but this is not the season for them. This is not the right time for them. This is not the time that they're going to grow and flourish. I have other ideas where it's like, oh, this is a better time, whether that's the political climate that we're living in, where it's like this idea will be better in this political climate, whether that's the resources that I have right now. So I'm having a lot of film resources. I don't necessarily have a lot of book publishing resources. And so in that case, it's like, okay, here's what I have, here's what I can do. Unfortunately, these things that I may have been working on for longer, like I had started writing back in high school, these books ideas I had in high school. So it's like, it's grieving that I can't work on them now, but it's okay, here's what I'm prioritizing so that way I can get other things done. So I think that's the part that I'm kind of in this case grieving in a sense where it's like I can't do everything right now, unfortunately, as I may have thought I was able to. And just coming to kind of that realization and really learning how to pace myself.
Yeah, come to terms with that. I literally overstand you. Like that is me to the T. I'm like, dang, when you were talking, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if like we didn't have to pay rent or anything like that? We could just work on what we want to work on. Then we have all the time in the world because the 40 hours takes a lot. Okay. So I love that. Well, people with the 9 to 5s, okay, full-time entrepreneurship, love y'all, but people who have to work 9 to 5 and have to do their dream on the side, it's like woo, child. So I definitely understand that. So yeah, Deirdre.
All right. I gotta lean in on this one. I think sometimes I grieve what's the word? The certainty of having a paycheck like bi-weekly or monthly. Right now with me, it's balling on a budget. It's me figuring out, okay, if I use this card and this card, I get cash back so I can pay for my training. So I'm grieving the ability to pay and do what I want as I please, knowing it's all there. But now it's like, okay, let me sell some candles here. Here's, this over there. So piecing those things together, just so I can move the way I want to financially, but also knowing that putting the time into my business and growing, it's coming. It's not here today, but it will be here soon. It is on its way.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, like grieving the stability. Like you're kind of grieving the stability, but then it's like, but then it's like you have the flexibility.
Exactly.
Tease. Ability, creative. I love that. So yes, that's so cool. I love that what you're saying because it kind of is like what I just said. It's like, okay, we like love the stability of the 9 to 5, but then you can't do this. So it's kind of when people say like you kind of like gotta pick your hard. It's like what hard do you want to pick? And it's so sad that we have to be like, boxed into that. Like either you do this or you do that, and you do this, and then life happens, and then you can't really control anything. Like life be life, and so it's kind of like how do we want to navigate that from resources? And I think about that kind of what we were talking about, Stephanie, before that. It's like, what resources do I have that I can push this book out? Am I going to have to move? Am I going to have to leave this space? Where can I go that I know that I'm able to kind of push my growth up? But then it's like I'm leaving a familiar space. So it's like, okay, then you got to start building your community again, navigating that. Like, I think that's kind of like one of my fears I would say is like, okay, I have to move again. I'm not really fearful of moving, but it's kind of fearful of the unknown a little bit. And so it's kind of like, this is even being an entrepreneur, like that's unknown territory. Like, okay, am I gonna sell a candle today? Like, am I gonna sell it? Like, am I gonna be able to do this today or whatever? So I think that is very like important because it's like everybody grieves, and as we're talking about now, like grieving does not just mean like death and people, like it's like real life, like you're grieving like lifestyles, things and changes or whatever. So I thought that was really important. But I want to end it on a high note as we wrap up so we don't have to end on that, you know what I'm saying? My last question is, what would you tell your younger self sitting in a salon chair?
Speak up.
Girl. Oh, okay.
Speak up.
Mhm.
I would definitely say speak up. I was very it's specifically in the salon, I was very quiet, and I was going to the same beautician fairly recently. I've had her my entire life, and she would always say, "Oh, you're so quiet and nice," and there'd be a lot of times where I didn't wanna be quiet, and I didn't wanna be so nice, but that's just, like, how I was, and so I think to speak up in general in life in every shape way and form to speak up and take up space and not be afraid to take up space and not be afraid to say you don't like something. I remember in college I was in class and this girl openly was like boo, like the way like and I forgot what it was, I forgot what she didn't like, but she was just like boo, and I was like, I'm going to start stealing that. I'm going to just be like, "Boo,
Oh, she was
I
saying
don't I don't like boo, I don't like that." And it felt just so empowering in a way, where it was like the fact that she was just so open with her, like, discontent around something. Because I think it's very easy, especially as, Black woman, for us to just be content in whatever space that we're in, to be
Mhm.
appeasable. And so to see her and be like, "No, I can say I don't like that. I can say thumbs down. I can say boo." Like, I can't say no, was very empowering, something that I do try to take into my day to day and be like, no, if I don't like this, I am going to excuse myself. I am going to exit the room. I am going to say, I don't like that. Or that I do like that on a positive note, that I do like something, that I am happy, that I am, you know, feeling great or feeling good in whatever space that I choose to like be in. So I would just say to speak up and be bold and take up space.
Yes, I love that take up space. That's very I see that on comments now. People like boo, boo.
Boo, boo. It's like saying boo out loud, it just does something. Boo, with a thumbs down. Boo.
That's so
I
funny.
love it.
Okay. Lucky sure, Deirdre.
I'll go for I forget, man.
Okay.
Mom's real. I would say that I would tell myself that everything's going to be okay and that everything is working out for you and to look for the lesson. Those
Mm,
are the things I would say.
okay, love that.
Yeah.
Lakeisha.
Hmm. Child. I think I would tell myself that no is a complete sentence. It's okay to say no. My no was never empowered as a kid, so I didn't know that that was an option for me, and that's got me into
Mhm.
a lot of trouble in life, a lot of situations. So I think saying no, and then to like, man, trust in God, because
Mhm.
God don't stuff might change, but God does not. So yeah.
Love that. I was like, no, saying no completely. I'm like, I never even got to say. I never even said no. So I don't even know. I didn't even know that word when I was younger.
Did not. Did not. Was
Um,
not an option.
I think one thing that I would say to my younger self would honestly be like, start now, girl. Like, start
Mhm.
now. As we talk about time waits for no one, start now. Like, I remember when I was younger, just because, like, I don't know, like I was the only girl and I was the youngest, and so I kind of like watch TV and like do different things. Like I was like by myself. My brother was older and I wasn't really doing that stuff, but I would actually be writing. Like I would write stories all the time of like I don't know, like families, like big families. Like I had a big family, but it's like I would write like I had sisters or something like that. Like I was writing stories when I was younger, like in notebooks and stuff like that. Like I always wrote. I had journals, and so, but I never knew that like writing could be like a job per se. So I just like I didn't know that when I was younger. So now I'm like, dang, if I would have known that, I could have went like the English route or the some like I would have did a major. But me thinking English, I'm like, I don't want to be no teacher, right? So, but I didn't know like, oh, I could be a writer with English. Like I just didn't know that, and so I think that I would tell my younger self to start now because I would still have those stories that I had and I could write them, and I have books, and I've kind of like thought about them. I have written books, like I've started to write books and novels and stuff like that, but it's like with life, it's kind of just like, where is this going to go? Like have an audience. So I would tell her to start now and to like chase the dream early, basically, is what I would say to my younger self. So
Yeah.
yes. Thank y'all so much for joining me today on this Saturday salon. Is there anything that you all would like to share before we wrap up? Any last comments or things that I didn't ask, maybe you thought that you wanted to share? Just want to give you all the floor.
I do have a question.
Oh, okay.
It's for Alicia and Stephanie, since you're both like writers. So what you just said like really stuck out to me. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, she loves to draw and she loves to write. She's always writing stories. Like, what would you say is a way that I can empower her now? Because you were saying start early. So what are some way or some things I could do to kind of empower her now to plan for a future?
Do you know what type of stuff she writes? Like,
So she does a lot of like comic strips.
oh,
So she's really good at drawing like people's faces expressively, but so mainly it's comics. She does like little short stories and she does comics.
oh, I don't know necessarily the word, like I don't not that I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know the major because clearly I don't know. But to me, it sounds like a little bit like of animation, like animation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe because if she draws, she can create characters and stuff like that. I don't necessarily know I would say the platform for animation. So that's what I was trying to say. But I would say maybe looking into like animation because there's like 3Ds, but the library be having different things like that.
Mhm.
So I would just kind of say like exposing her to like people maybe who are animators, people are even looking up like I don't know her age, but like colleges like that like kind of go into that direction of like animation and just different things like that. With all the technology that we have, you look into that. That's what I would
Okay.
Yeah, when I was younger, probably around like middle school age, maybe younger than that, um, I would tell different stories to my younger cousins, and my aunt would encourage me to write, encourage, strongly suggest that I write every single night. And I had to write down like the stories I would tell to my cousins, and I would have to like share them and present them with her to show that I wrote them. And I didn't like it then because I was what, like 12, and so it was like homework over the summer. But looking back at it now, it was super beneficial because it one just helped develop my writing style. And like now, one of the biggest things my teachers will always tell me is like, I can tell that you wrote this. Like, this is very clearly Stephanie. Like, you have a very clear and distinctive writing style. So I think definitely highly encouraging her to write, create every day if possible, is really going to like just hone that skill and hone what she sounds like in her words, in her drawings, what she sounds like and what she makes audiences and readers feel as well. So I would say definitely that heavy encouragement. I don't know how old she is, if she's looking into like courses. There's community college courses, of course, that will have different classes for different things. I've seen a few for like drawing web comments. If she has like webtoons is a big one, just for like inspiration, following different comic creators on Instagram and social media to see like what their styles are like. And then also not being encouraging her to not be afraid to ask them as well. She has like a favorite, comic book creator, webtoon creator, that she likes, that she follows, not being afraid to like reach out and kind of cold call, cold DM and be like, hey, I really like your stuff. Would you be willing to talk to me? Would you be willing to, have 30 minutes to have a conversation? I did that when I was job hunting on LinkedIn, and it helped significantly. That's how I got one of my first internships in New York. I randomly messaged one of the employees at the company, and I was like, hey, I applied for this position. This is what I did in college. I would really want to like work on this team. So don't ever underestimate the opportunity of a cold call, a cold DM, a cold message. Really can go wonders. Maybe not the first like one or two. Obviously, they don't always hit, but I would definitely like encourage her to reach out to, if she knows, if she has people that she looks up to or that are in the space that she wants to be in, definitely like reaching out to them, because you never know who's going to say yes, who's going to say, yeah, I have 30 minutes to talk. I have 30 minutes to, speak with you. Yeah, I'll look at your comic. I'll look at your portfolio and give you notes. You never know.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, portfolio. That's actually really good.
Yeah, portfolio.
Is actually
if she doesn't have a portfolio, I would definitely probably work on getting her a portfolio.
No,
if she's very serious.
She's got a portfolio. Well, she's about to be 12, so she's got her whole wall in her room covered in her portfolio.
She's in cool with a portfolio.
Yes.
She's already ahead of the game, okay?
Perfect.
Yes. That's so cool. I love that though. I love it. That's really cool. But yeah. Anybody else that and if you didn't get to say what you wanted to say or if you felt like you wanted to share something,
I'll
guys.
just ask super quick. Is Fly Girls Candles and Pink Batter Cake Studio on Instagram? That are
Yes.
those the tags? Okay, perfect. So you can follow.
Yeah.
Yes, follow everybody on Instagram. The Grand Rising Project is on Instagram too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's all
It'll be just Grand Rising Project, but if you type
Oh.
in, I'm sure it'll pull up.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Everyone is on Instagram as well as Black Girls in the Podcast. So make sure you subscribe and share and follow us on social media. If you have not, if this is your first time listening, you have not checked out the Smaller Town Girls Bigger Dream series, make sure you do that. It's on all platforms and it's on YouTube. Our next series that y'all are here is all about finding your voice through your passion. So I have another series about of 8 women where they'll be talking about how they found their voice through their passion. So that will be up coming soon. And so I'm excited for that one. And we'll do like another one of these where we're going to do like a salon thing to kind of talk about where their passion came from and how they found their voice. So that is something else that we are working on now. And just follow us. We do a lot of things from First Sundays where we talk about navigating singlehood and TV shows. We do Main Character Mondays where we talk about our main characters from our favorite TV shows and just kind of like dive in what the realities of the TV show is. So just kind of stay tuned, subscribe, check us out, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.